Have you ever felt that heart-sinking, gut-wrenching feeling? That moment you reach out for connection, for a simple conversation, for a touch, and you're met with a wall. Not a wall of anger, not a wall of hate, but something far more confusing and painful, a wall of nothing, a polite dismissal, a distant look, a sudden, overwhelming need for space. And in that moment, your entire nervous system screams in protest. Your mind races. What did I do wrong? Why am I not enough? If I just loved them harder, if I just explained myself better, if I just sacrificed a little more, T-hand, they would finally see me. They would finally let me in. Let me tell you something right now with absolute clarity. That ache in your soul, that desperate need to break through that wall, Tayat, is the 81 mistake that is systematically destroying your relationship and eviscerating your own spirit. You are standing at the emotional equivalent of a vault, and you're trying to pry it open with a feather, begging it to open, when what you really need to do is understand the combination. The problem isn't that the vault is broken. The problem is your strategy. You are pouring your infinite, beautiful, life-giving energy into a black hole of avoidance, and you are left feeling empty, anxious, and fundamentally unworthy. That ends today. For too long, you've been playing a game where you don't know the rules. You speak the language of connection, and they speak the dialect of distance. And every time you try to bridge that gap with more of your own energy, you are not building a bridge, you are digging a moat. This isn't about blame. This is about strategy. This is about awakening to a new way of being, a new level of power that will not only transform your relationship, but will, first and foremost, reclaim you. You feel them pull away. It's a subtle shift in the atmosphere. A text goes unanswered for hours longer than usual. A conversation feels clipped. A physical distance emerges on the couch, and the alarm bells in your head and heart go off at a deafening volume. The ancient, primal part of your brain, the one that fears abandonment above all else, takes the wheel. And what does it tell you to do? It tells you to send another text. Is everything okay? It tells you to ask a probing question. You seem quiet. What's wrong? It tells you to move closer, to try to hug them, to seek reassurance. This chasing instinct is a biological imperative. It's the terror of being left behind, of being unlovable, and it demands immediate action to soothe the terrifying uncertainty of their withdrawal. But here is the catastrophic error. To an avoidant partner, your chase is not experienced as love. It is not received as caring. It is interpreted as a 5-alarm fire of emotional demand. Your text isn't a question, it's a leash. Your hug isn't an affection, it's a cage. Your need for reassurance isn't a vulnerability, it's a burden. Their entire internal world is wired to perceive intimacy as a threat to their autonomy and survival. So when you chase, you are confirming their deepest, darkest fear, that they will be consumed, controlled, and lose themselves. You are, with the best of loving intentions, pouring gasoline on the very fire you are trying to put out. Your pursuit triggers their flight response, so they run faster and further, which in turn makes you chase harder and more frantically. This is the toxic dance of the anxious-avoidant trap, and it will grind your soul into dust if you don't break the cycle. So what is the alternative? It is not to become cold. It is to shift from a strategy of CACNG to a state of ANG. An anchor does not chase the ship. The ship, buffeted by winds and waves, moves around the anchor. The anchor holds firm, solid, and unshakable in its own place. Your mission is to become that anchor. This means when you feel that tidal wave of anxiety rise up in your chest, when you feel the compulsive urge to seek them out for a hit of reassurance, you must do the single most difficult and most powerful thing you can do. You must turn inward. You must anchor yourself in your own worth, your own life, your own stability. This is not passive-aggressive withdrawal. This is active, conscious self-possession. Anchoring looks like taking that frantic energy you would have spent drafting the perfect text and using it to go for a run. It looks like picking up a book you've been meaning to read instead of staring at your phone waiting for a reply. It looks like calling a friend to talk about their life, not your relationship drama. It looks like working on a project that fulfills you, that reminds you of who you are outside of this dynamic. When you anchor, you are communicating a powerful, verbal message. My emotional stability is my responsibility. My happiness is not dependent on your proximity. I am a whole person, with or without you. This is not a threat. It is a demonstration of profound strength. And paradoxically, this is what makes an avoidant partner feel safe. When they see that you are not a bottomless pit of need, that you are not going to collapse if they take space, the perceived threat of engulfment diminishes. They can, for the first time, look up from their own fear and see a stable, secure person they can potentially move towards, not run from. You stop feeding the cycle of pursuit and withdrawal, and you create the calm, steady waters where a real connection can finally, possibly begin to grow. Your definition of love is likely built on pillars of togetherness, shared vulnerability, and constant communication. You express care by checking in, by asking deep questions, by wanting to spend quality time. These are beautiful human needs. But to an avoidant partner, this very language of love feels like a suffocating smothering. They hear, "Can we talk about our feelings?" And their brain translates it to, "Prepare for an emotional ambush that will drain you and trap you." They feel you wanting to spend a lazy Sunday together, and they perceive it as you will have no freedom or autonomy for the next 12 hours. This isn't because they are evil or don't care. It's because their internal blueprint for safety is autonomy, not intimacy. So you must learn to bilingual in love. You must learn to speak the language of space. This means reframing your requests and your presence. Instead of saying, "We'll never talk anymore, we need to have a serious conversation," which sounds like a court summons, you can say, "I'd love to hear your thoughts on something when you have some downtime and feel up for it, no rush." You have transformed a demand into an invitation. Instead of being hurt when they need an evening alone, you can proactively give it to them. "Hey, I know you've had a long week. I've got some stuff I want to do on my own tonight, so just enjoy your space." You have just reframed their need for distance as something you are collaboratively creating, not something they are inflicting upon you. You have aligned yourself with their core value of autonomy, and in doing so, you have removed the resistance. Speaking the language of space also means respecting their de-escalation rituals. After a moment of closeness, even a good one, an avoidant person often needs to recalibrate. They might go for a solo walk, disappear into a project, or just need quiet. The anxious response is to see this as a rejection of the closeness you just shared. "We had such a nice time. Why are you pulling away now?" The anchoring response is to understand this is their necessary physiological and emotional process to integrate intimacy. It is not about you. Let them have it. Do not follow them. Do not question it. By allowing this space without protest, you are speaking their native tongue fluently. You are saying, "I understand how you work, and I am not threatened by it." This builds immense trust. When they realize that connection with you does not mean the permanent loss of their self, the fortress walls around their heart begin, brick by brick, to come down. You are no longer the person trying to scale the walls. You are the person who has proven you can be trusted inside the gate. An avoidant partner has a radar for emotional volatility that is more sensitive than any military-grade technology. They can sense desperation, anxiety, and neediness from a mile away, and it sends them running for the hills. Your emotional eruptions, the crying, the angry outbursts, the passive-aggressive comments are like volcanic ash to them. It's chaotic, unpredictable, and confirms their belief that emotions are dangerous and destructive. Your job, if you want to change this dynamic, is to become the exact opposite. You must become a fortress of calm. This does not mean becoming a robot or suppressing your feelings. It means developing the emotional muscle to self-soothe. It means when you feel that surge of panic because they are distant, you don't project it onto them. You turn to your own toolkit, you breathe deeply, you journal out the frantic thoughts, you remind yourself of your own worth, you go for a hard workout. You process the emotion internally or with a trusted friend or therapist first before you bring a calmer, more centered version of yourself to the interaction. When you are a fortress of calm, you become a safe harbor. An avoidant person, who is often internally chaotic with their own unprocessed emotions, will subconsciously be drawn to your stability. Your calmness gives them permission to not have to manage why you are emotional state, which is a massive relief for them. They can finally let their guard down, not because you demanded it, but because your unwavering peace made it feel safe to do so. In the desperate chase to earn the love of an avoidant partner, you start bartering with your own soul. You think, if I just need less, if I just ask for less, if I just make myself smaller and less demanding, then they will finally love me. So you stop asking for date nights. You stop expecting words of affirmation. You swallow your hurt when they forget your birthday. You become a ghost of your own needs, hoping that by becoming invisible, you will become lovable. This is the greatest betrayal of self, and it is utterly, completely futile. An avoidant partner is not avoiding you because you have too many needs. They are avoiding intimacy itself, and by erasing your needs, you are not making intimacy safer. You are simply making yourself less real, less vibrant, and less of a person. You are confirming their belief that relationships require the loss of self because you are actively demonstrating that loss. The most powerful stand you can take is to stop the barter. Your value, your needs, your desires for connection are non-negotiable. This doesn't mean you make relentless demands. It means you state your truth calmly and clearly, and you let the chips fall where they may. I understand you need your space, and I respect that. I also need quality time to feel connected. I'd like to find a way to honor both. Then you let it be. You don't plead. You don't negotiate. You have stated the parameters of a relationship that works for you. If they cannot meet you there, then you have not lost a partner. You have escaped a dynamic that was forcing you to annihilate yourself. Holding firm to your value is the ultimate magnet. It commands respect and forces a shift in the dynamic. You are trying to solve an emotional puzzle with a logical map. You spend hours, days, weeks analyzing their behavior. What did that text mean? Why did they say that? What is the root cause of their avoidance? You want to talk about the relationship to fix it. This is like trying to use a flashlight to find darkness. For an avoidant, talking about the relationship, especially the problems, is the most draining, threatening activity imaginable. It is the problem, not the solution. The breakthrough happens when you stop trying to discuss the connection and start creating it through shared, low-pressure action. Instead of, we need to talk about our lack of connection, you say, I'm going to hike to the waterfall this Saturday. You're welcome to join if you'd like. You are leading with an invitation to a shared experience, not a conversation, doing things side by side, building a piece of furniture, cooking a meal, watching a movie, going for a drive, is the native language of connection for many avoidant partners. In these moments, the pressure is off. There is no intense eye contact, no demanding emotional exchange. Connection builds in the quiet companionship of shared action. It builds through a joke shared while chopping vegetables, a mutual appreciation of a beautiful view. This is how trust is rebuilt, not through a grand, emotional summit meeting, but through 1,000 tiny positive, non-threatening moments of shared existence. You must become the architect of these experiences, not the prosecutor of your relationship's failures. This is the master key. As long as your focus is external, how can I get them to be less avoidant? How can I get them to give me what I need? You are handing over the keys to your happiness and placing yourself in a permanent state of powerlessness. You are a victim of their attachment style. The ultimate life-altering shift is to turn the spotlight inward. The question is no longer about them. The question is, why am I so triggered by this? What is this ancient wound inside of me that gets activated by their distance? What is my part in this dance? Your relationship with an avoidant partner is not a mistake. It is a brutal, perfect, and divine mirror. It is forcing you to confront your own anxious attachment, your own core wounds of unworthiness, your own tendency to abandon yourself for the faint hope of love from another. This dynamic is your teacher. It is here to force you to grow, to build your own self-esteem, to learn to self-soothe, to establish boundaries, to become a whole, secure individual who does not need another person to complete them. When you make this shift, everything changes. You stop trying to change your partner and you start your own hero's journey of self-discovery and healing. And in a beautiful paradoxical twist, as you become more secure and less needy, you become the very thing an avoidant partner finds safest to love. But that can no longer be the goal. The goal is your own wholeness. The relationship then becomes a potential bonus to your already fulfilled life, not the source of it. Let's be crystal clear. The journey of loving or attempting to build a life with an avoidant partner is not for the faint of heart. It is one of the most challenging emotional landscapes you will ever navigate. It will test your patience, your self-worth, and your very understanding of what love is. But within that challenge lies an incredible opportunity for radical personal transformation, an evolution that will serve you in every area of your life. Whether this particular relationship survives or not, the Fey One mistake, the relentless soul-crushing chase, ends today. It ends the moment you decide that your primary relationship is the one you have with yourself. It ends when you choose to become the anchor in your own life, unshakable in your value and committed to your own peace. This isn't about giving up on love. It's about building a foundation of self-love so strong that any love you receive from another is an addition to your abundance, not the source of it. The strategies we've outlined, anchoring, speaking the language of space, becoming a fortress of calm, holding your value as non-negotiable, leading with action, and turning the focus inward, are not manipulation tactics. They are the pillars of a secure, empowered identity. They are the practices that will drain the anxiety from your body and replace it with a profound sense of agency. You are no longer a passive participant in a dysfunctional dance. You are the conscious architect of your reality. Remember, you cannot love an avoidant person into security, but you can, through your own unwavering work, become so secure yourself that you create a gravitational pull that makes it safe for them to explore a new way of being. You become the calm in their storm, and if they choose not to step into that space, you will have lost nothing. You will have gained everything, yourself. So step into this new chapter not with fear, but with power. Stop begging for crumbs from a locked cupboard and turn around to feast at the banquet of your own life. The love you've been seeking outside of yourself is waiting to be discovered within. And from that place of unshakable wholeness, you will attract and build the connection you truly deserve. Thank you for having the courage to look at this dynamic with new eyes and an open heart. This is your moment. This is your turning point. Go out there and claim the life and the love you are worthy of. I believe in you. Now, go and do the work. Goodbye.